Okay, shalom everyone, and welcome to Coffee and Connection week 143. I believe it's not, I'm not home on my computer, so I can't double check that. But thank God, yes, out and about the week before Pesach doesn't usually happen, but thank God I'm at a wedding. I hope you can hear me. I hope that I'll hold my hand up so that the wind, beautiful Jerusalem air, does not get in the way of the sound. I'm actually at the Tayelet, if anyone knows where that is. Behind me is like literally the view of the old city. Um, if we were down if I was down like where the wedding actually is, you could see a beautiful chuppah with the old city behind us. It's just amazing. You can see Harabayit from here, and it's really a beautiful place to have a wedding right now. And it is special to be at a wedding, right? It's always like bitter, like such a special opportunity to kind of get out and get out of the house, but also like, oh my gosh, there's so many things I need to do at home right now. Like my couch covers are wet, sitting on the couch, needing to be put back on the couches. And I think I finished my fridge, but I have to finish it up and put it back on. So there's like stuff to do. But you know, that's exactly what we want to talk about today, that like it's so important to take time and check in with ourselves and see like, wait, are there other things going on in our lives? Maybe we have a wedding to go to, maybe we need a break, maybe, like getting in tune with our feelings is so important. And it's really, I was really thinking about that a lot over the last few days. We had, I'm sure, everyone knows and experienced, whether you're in Israel, whether, you only found out after Shabbos was over, but like the craziness that happened here on Motzei Shabbos. I think that experience was a really good example of how important it is to be in touch with our feelings and notice what's going on around us, right? And like be aware of it. Like you could just say like, whatever, we don't even like I didn't even need to know anything that was going on. But we know that there is power in knowing what's going on and being aware, um, even if all we can do, it's not an all, right? Even if all the only thing we can do is just daven, that's a big thing, right? That's a big thing. And even, there was a skula that was being passed around on Motzei Shabbos, to say a pasuk to say a verse from the Book of Kings, from Sefer Melachim, where Chizkiyahu was being surrounded by Sancherib's army. Now, Sancherib had never lost a war, and he's standing at the gates of Jerusalem, and he's calling out and he's saying, "Tomorrow I'm attacking the base of Mikdash, and like I'm attacking Jerusalem, and you're going to be destroyed, and there's no one who's going to save you. Look, God hasn't saved you. I've attacked 48 of your cities already, and you got rid of all the avodah zarah. Like Chizkiyahu got rid of all of the other gods, the false gods that were around, that the people might have thought were going to save them. So no one's going to save you." And Chizkiyahu spoke to, Yeshayahu, who was his Navi, spoke to Chizkiyahu and said, everything will be okay. And Chizkiyahu went to sleep. He went to sleep that night. And it's talked about like different levels, right? Like David HaMelech got up and fought wars and attributed it all to Hashem, right? And I'm a big David person. I love David. There's so much we can learn from him. And there's there's another level that was to stay up and daven. I don't remember who that was. That was a different king. Sorry, my mind is blanking on that one. And then there's Chizkiyahu, who just said, "I'm going to sleep, really trusting that everything's going to be okay." And the pasuk, which I said multiple times that night, and even after everything happened, my daughter reminded me to say it when I did finally, me and her were the only ones that were actually still awake, and then went to sleep at 3:30 in the morning. Both times we were the last ones going to sleep. And she's like, "Oh, we have to say the pasuk before we go to bed." So that was the school that before you go to sleep, to say that pasuk of, they went to sleep at night, and in the morning, 180,000, if I'm remembering the number correctly. So they'd all just died. There was like a plague. And that was the big skula that was going around. Besides for prayers, there's now things have come out, like what were the top five, and this is so relevant to what I'm talking about, the top five Google searches in Israel that night. And it was like the news and Psalms, right? Looking for Tehillim. And this is so powerful, not just Tehillim of prayer, but also afterwards, Tehillim of thanks, right? And this, I think, is, I have so many thoughts. So I'm sorry if I'm like a little jumbled, and I hope again that you're hearing me okay with the wind. That like there's a lot of different things to be aware of, right? First, being aware of how we were feeling, right? Just like we always have to be aware of, what am I feeling? What's going on? To just say, nothing's going on. Like, no, something big was going to like was going on. We didn't know what the result was going to be. And we could have a muna that in the end, everything will be okay. Like we talked about 6 months ago, we know in the end, everything will be okay. But what's it going to look like? What's going to happen? We had no idea. And it was scary. We didn't know. So to just say, everything's fine. Even one of my daughters was going, everything's fine, everything's gonna be okay. And it's just like, I'm gonna eat because I'm stressed. Like other girls were like, I thought you said everything's fine, right? So yeah, but I'm still stressed, right? Like we can believe everything's gonna be fine and still feel stressed. And so when one of my daughters said to me that she was feeling stressed, I said, okay, so just like, we've talked about, the reason you feel stressed is because your body, the reason you feel like agitated is because your body recognizes that there's something going on, and it gives you adrenaline, it gives you energy to do something. So let's use that energy and do something, whether you use that energy to daven, whether you use that energy to clean, which is what we also did after we got our Pesach cleaning started, which was amazing. Whether you use that energy to do like whatever you can do, that question we've been asking, what do I do when I feel stressed? So like doing something with that energy. And that's so powerful. If you start to feel stressed about Pesach or about having enough food or just sitting in the stress, is not going to help you. You're just going to go eat or yell at somebody or, whatever we do when we're stressed. At the same time, just running, and like doing whatever you can, like just doing without thinking about it, without taking a moment to acknowledge, what am I feeling right now? What's coming up for me? And what can I do about it? Right? Like if you're just, okay, let me just make 10 more dishes, like, or let me, scrub this counter again. When it's like, no, that's clean already. Let's go find something else you can do, or let's make a meal plan, or let's sit down and take some deep breath. Let's do some yoga, like do something like mindfully. So when we're mindful about what we're feeling, we're mindful about what's coming up for us, what's going on, right? Like what's going on? Something really crazy was going on that's never happened before. What's gonna like and it's not like, oh, everything was just, well, we'll get to that in a minute. So like acknowledge like what's going on, what's coming up for you, and then like be thoughtful. Like what can I do about it? How do I want to handle it? And the most important question, I'm gonna is the most important question, especially this week, sorry, is that question of, who do I want to be as I'm handling this, right? What's the energy I want to have? What is it that I want the people around me to feel from me, right? Not to pretend. It's not about pretending who I am and what do I want everyone to see and what do I want to show. No, it's like, who do I want to be? What kind of woman do I want to be? Wife, mother, just in life, who am I? What am I aspiring to? How do I want to handle this? I remember when Corona was going on and the kids were home all the time and everything was very stressful and we didn't know what was happening, not so different. I remember my husband saying to me, what the kids will remember from all of this is who we are being, right? Who we are, the energy that we create in the house. And that was very, very powerful. Now, it doesn't mean that I went out every day going, hey, everything's great, amazing, like pretending like, I don't have feelings. That's just not relatable. It's not real. And it's where we can crash in like that positivity. It doesn't work. At least for me, that's not real for me. I was, real, but that meant like, okay, if I'm starting to get agitated, I need to take a time out. What do I need to do? What do I need for myself right now? If I see everyone's getting agitated, okay, what do we need? Right? It's just being aware of the situation and asking that question, what's going on for me? How am I feeling? And who do I want to be? How do I want to handle this? and getting practical with ourselves, which we can only do if we're real. It's a thing, we can only do it if we're real. If I just sat there going, everything's fine, everything's okay, so nobody would have related to me. Like people, they were nervous, and didn't know how to handle it, and they need and what they need is to see practically how to handle it, right? And it wouldn't have been authentic for myself, right? So that's the first thing, is like noticing what you're feeling, not making it bad. Like emotions are like so many things in life. We give them judgment. We say they're good or they're bad, but there's no such thing as a good emotion or a bad emotion. An emotion just is an emotion. It's the question is what we make that emotion mean and what we do with the emotion. If you're feeling nervous or scared and you turn to Hashem, that's emulating David Melech. That's being, living in Amuna. If you are feeling overwhelmed and you go and you take, and you realize, I need to do something for myself. I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to do some stretches. I'm going to put on some good music. You're being real with what's going on. If you realize I'm feeling resentful, okay, now you can check in. Where do I need to ask for help? What am I doing that is too much for me that I need to let go of? What am I making someone or something mean? What am I doing that I don't really want to be doing? You got to be real with that, right? So that's the first thing. And then it's also, uh, is that after everything happened, and you know like I don't know if to like share, like just practically, like I said, my daughter and I were still awake, and she had just said, I think I'm going to go to sleep. They had told us like between 2 and 5 something was going to happen, maybe 7. It was like 1:40, and I was like, okay, like I think I've done enough, like cleaning at this point, and maybe I'll sit down and say some more to Helen. I wasn't sure what to do. My daughter was like, okay, I'm gonna get into pajamas, and maybe I'll go to sleep. Maybe, I'm not sure. And then it was very wild. At 1:45 or whatever it was, we started hearing booms. Before there was a siren, we heard, like, I guess the Iron Dome taking things out or whatever it was. And we just, my daughter was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, okay. And we're just saying, like, I just said the David like over and over again. And she's like, should we go downstairs? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I was just real. Like, yes, this is scary, but let's use our emotions and be like, okay, even if it's not here, something's going on, someone's doing something. Like, we need to let's do what we can. And then I said, no, we shouldn't go downstairs. We shouldn't go downstairs unless there's a siren, And then the siren went off. And so everyone got up and we woke up the boys who had no idea what was going on because they'd gone to sleep before anything started. And we went downstairs to the bomb shelter. And we were there as much as we needed. Our neighbors were there. We, just doing what, that was the in the moment. And watching the news and everything, whatever we could see. But when we came up, after it was over and we realized that there was like one injury in like a Bedouin town and like nothing else had happened, I think it took time to recognize, like, oh my gosh, like this was a huge miracle. And that's the other part of like recognizing what's really going on around us, is that to recognize, like, that was huge. That was a huge, huge miracle. I mean, there is a picture now of a piece of shrapnel that they took out of the Dead Sea. It is, I can't even, like, it's huge. And there were like hundreds of things that were sent over. I can't seem to get a good number. Like, they keep giving different numbers. I don't think they really know, because like so many were taken down and some fell before they even reached Israel. The level of miracle that happened was unbelievable. It was nisim v'niflaot, like totally revealed Pesach kinds of miracles. And I realized after all the Tehillim and the David, I was like, I'm opening up the Tehillim of Hallel. And I was wondering, like, is that what we're going to do? Like, is everyone going to say it tomorrow? So I saw that some people did talk about it, but like, I think it's so important as part of our recognizing what's going on for us and our feelings. It's not just recognizing our struggles. I'm not going to stand here and say, we should always so be grateful for everything. Of course, we should be grateful for what we have. And that doesn't negate the fact that we have to be real with our emotions. So number one, be real with everything that's going on. Be real with what we're afraid of. Be real with our concerns. Be real with our struggles. And also to be real with the amazing things that we have in our lives, to be real with the miracles, to be real with the gifts that we have, to be real with the blessings that we have, to also give ourselves permission to feel them, because so easy to like get caught up in the struggles and forget about it, forget them, not give them the proper attention, like just be like, okay, thank God everything was okay, and go back to sleep. Like, wait, like what just happened? Right? And on a regular basis, like, yes, it is hard to get ready for Pesach. Yes, 100%. And to recognize our blessings and to be grateful for our blessings and to allow ourselves to enjoy them. It doesn't mean that the struggles go away. It also is important to give ourselves the permission to acknowledge and be grateful for and celebrate the things that we have. It really can be so difficult to remember to do. And when we're feeling like, but I'm just stressed about everything we need to do, it can be helpful to, yes, acknowledge the stress and see what can we do for that for Shalema, and also to think about, okay, and what am I going to enjoy? And what am I grateful for? And what, can you hear the music from the wedding just started up? I don't know what you can hear. Baruch Hashem. And to acknowledge it and allow our hearts to be filled up with it, to be filled up with gratitude for what we have, for the fact that we get to celebrate Pesach, like such a gift, for our families, for our homes, for our everything, to have that gratitude as well. Like, wow, like like we say, to feel like we are the ones being taken out of Mitzrayim. Like, can imagine that right now, like the feeling of like suddenly a galus, an exile, a war being over, like of a threat just passing over, and like it's gone. Like, that's what we get to feel on Pesach night, to also appreciate that, to feel and appreciate our love for Torah, our love for Hashem, our love for the Jewish people, and to pass that on, right? That's really what Pesach is about. It's funny, we're like passing on, not passing over, passing on. Hello, David. What? You want the sweater, but I'm cold. You go sit inside, okay? Wait, your shoe is over there. Okay, you guys go back in. So to pass that on, we also, we have to feel it, right? And there is so much beauty to that concept. Rabbi Sachs talks about it a lot. I learned it originally from Rabbi Liebtag, and my Rebbitzin talks a lot about how Pesach is about passing on. I mean, this is the Haggadah. It's shot. I'm just saying that, like, if you want more, like, understanding of it, the Sachs Haggadah is a beautiful expression of it. Just like that, how Pesach is the passing on. It's the intense, like, boot camp of passing on our what it means to be a Jew to our children, right? Our love for Hashem, our love for Torah. Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim so that we get to serve him. We get to have a relationship with him. We get to see that he cares about us and loves us. And it can be hard to like feel that when we're just exhausted by the mitzvot and they're draining our bank account and all of that. But like, Baruch Hashem, I don't think you can see Harabai behind me, but it is behind me. And just like to feel in our hearts, like a desire to be back there, like connecting, like fully connecting to Hashem and connecting to the Jewish people all together. That is what we get to feel and pass on. in order to feel it, we have to connect with it within ourselves, right? Not just connect to our struggles. Don't, right? That's why I started out with that. And they're both important. Connect with the struggles. And the more we're real with our feelings, the more we can also get in tune to our feelings of love and connection to our families, to Hashem, to all of Am Yisrael. I know that when I wasn't in touch with my feelings, that meant that I did not feel, negative things, and everything was like whatever, like, and I was not in tune. But that also meant that I like didn't feel the good things. Like, okay, like everything was just like it just was. I didn't feel anything. Getting in tune with my feelings didn't just mean that now I'm in tune and recognize when I'm sad or angry or happy, or it also means that I'm so much more connected to my own feelings about my love for Hashem, my love for all of you, my love for Israel and the land, and my love for my family. Like that's and I'm not just saying about myself. I'm just using like just that's the power of it. So I invite you to not just be real with yourself about what you're dealing with and what you may need, but also to look around your life and like they say, like write a gratitude list, like really be appreciative of what you have. And the power of that is that it also gives you encouragement and empowerment to deal with your struggles. I remember at the beginning of like a workshop that I went to, we were asked in the beginning to make a list of everyone who made it possible for us to be there that day. And I had traveled from Israel to America. I had left children. I had like needed support of my friends to like encourage me to go. And like I remember making this crazy long list when sometimes I could tell myself, like no one cares, or I'm like don't have a support. And then it's like, well, this person and this person. I remember like writing and writing and writing and writing and realizing how much connection I have with people, and how many people were really making it possible for me to be there, and how many people love me and I love them, that it gave me like so much of like a kick in the right place to like make the rest of that workshop as meaningful and powerful and life-changing as possible. So since that's kind of what Pesach is, right? The Seder night, and then the next week is like a workshop. It's a boot camp in like, what does it mean to be a Jew? Connecting to the destiny of the Jewish people and connecting to Hashem and connecting to our family. I mean, if you just when you look in the Torah, in where we see this mitzvah, it's always talking about the bayit, the home. It is about our home, and our how on Pesach night, our home, right? If you think about the first Pesach, was so interesting because we brought like this, the first, like we brought as a nation, we were bringing this offering, this korban. And usually what makes a korban is that we sprinkle the blood on the altar and we consume, and the meat has to be eaten, whether it all goes on the mizbeach, or some of it eaten by the kohanim, some of it we eat, and we have to eat it in a certain amount of time, and it needs to be burnt in a certain amount of time. But in Mitzrayim, when they were in Egypt that night, there was no altar. There was no mizbeach. So where did they sprinkle the blood? On their doors. By the way, one of the jokes that was going around Saturday night, I mean, really, like we can't get it. Like the whole night was just filled with jokes. Like the kids were like getting jokes passed around on WhatsApp and Facebook, whatever they were on. No one's on Facebook, WhatsApp or Instagram or whatever. Like just jokes. Everyone was making jokes. Like that's what we do, right? So one person was like, everyone say some Tehillim, go to sleep, and sprinkle some blood on your doorpost. That was one of the jokes. My favorite joke that I just saw last night was Iran didn't realize that our airspace is covered in not one, but 2 layers of heavy duty aluminum foil. That one made me laugh for like an hour. Okay. Anyways, so back to the Devar Torah, sorry. So as we put, where do we put the blood? On our doorposts. And where we consume the meat, we had to consume it inside the house. We couldn't leave the house. The house became the mikdash. Our homes are mikdashes. Our homes are places of connection to Hashem, connection to our our family, the Jewish people, it's about connection. And that's what Pesach is about. Seder night, we connect and we have a week of connection. So as we get ready for that connection, let's be real with the challenges that we have so that we can enjoy it. And let's be real with the blessings that we have. So also we can enjoy and be motivated and have the energy, the motivation and the energy. If we sum it all up, this is everything we talked about is about giving ourselves the energy and the motivation to build that bayit that is a mini mikdash, a mini temple. And my son is coming again. I see it's already time and my phone's going to die. But thank you for joining me. I hope that this was helpful for all of you. Oh, you want to say hello? And let's say a Tehillim of I can't use my phone, so I'm trying to think let's say a Tehillim of thanks. A Tehillim of thank. I don't know the one off by heart. Oh, you got ice cream? I know B'Tzeit Yisrael off by heart. So why don't we do that one from Hallel? Let's say it together as thanks, and then we'll say one for energy and as tefillah. So let's first thank Hashem for the miracles. B'Tzeit Yisrael Mitzrayim. I know singing it. B'Tzeit Yisrael Mitzrayim. I don't even remember one. Oh my gosh, it's not 118 or 7. It's like 114 or something. It's like the second one of Hallel, right? So B'Tzeit Yisrael Mitzrayim, Beit Yaakov Mem Loez, Hayta Yehuda Lekacho, Yisrael Mam Shalotav, Hayam Ra'av Vayanos, Hayarden Yisov Leachor, Heharim Rakdu Keelim Gevot Kivnei Ton, Milifnei Adon. Huli Aretz, Milifnei Elohai Yaakov, Hafli Atzor Gamayim, Chalam Yishlam Mano Mayim. Was that the whole thing? Maybe that was the whole thing. I say a parak of Hallel. I apologize. I don't have Tehillim with me, and I'm on my phone. So say a parak of Hallel together, and let's say Kuf Kaf Aleph 121 to daven for continued protection and continued strength for all of Am Yisrael, for Tzahal, for all of us, and everything that we're doing, and that everyone should be home. The hostages should come home, the soldiers should go home and stay home, all the people who are out of their homes should come home, all of Am Yisrael should come home, and the Shechina should be home in the Beit HaMikdash. And that's what Pesach is about, the home. So Bezrat Hashem, everyone should be home. Shir Lama'alot Asai Enai El Ha'arim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri Me'im Adonai Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz Al Yiten Lamot Raglecha Al Yanum Shomracha Hine Lo Yanum V'Lo Yishan Shomer Yisrael Adonai Shomracha Adonai Tzolcha Al Yad Yaminecha Yomam HaShemesh Lo Yakeka V'Yereach Balayla Adonai Yishmorcha Mikol Ra Yishmor Et Nafshecha Adonai Yishmor Teicha V'Lecha Me'ata Ve'ad Olam. Ladies, I love you all so much. I will, Bezrat Hashem, look forward to connecting with you after Pesach. I guess it'll be a week after Pesach. So may you have the most beautiful, amazing, connecting, loving, connecting Pesach in your home. May we all be home. May we all feel so not just connected to our families, our husbands, our children, all of Klal Yisrael, and may we really celebrate together in the Beit HaMikdash. Korban Pesach, I'm so excited. You're all welcome. Until then, may we all be blessed to live, love, and be loved with all our hearts. Goodbye for now. Chag Sameach. Mwah.